Hello, good morning everyone. Here is Amanat Ali, PhD student at Center for Modern Languages. The topic of my research is comparative analysis of effectiveness of textbook-based instruction versus material light approach in among Saudi EFL learners. So two approaches like textbook-based and material light approach are used to teach speaking skill to the Saudi EFL learners. English, the skill of the language that is more focused is speaking skill because Saudi EFL learners need to focus on their speaking skill and they are taught English as foreign language and speaking skill is a mandatory for communication for different purposes. Different language teaching methods have been used in the history like grammar translation method, direct method, situational language teaching method, just to be a different method, but the recent teaching method that was introduced by Scott Thornburn in 2009 and then it was supported with Mering. It's Dogma ELT method. It is conversed or it is claimed to be a communicative language teaching method. It has three core concepts: conversation driven, material light, and focus on emergent language. So students are involved in the conversation during the class, or they are involved in the speaking or communicative activities. Material light means the students bring the material to the class. The material is not presupposed or pre-planned or no specific syllabus, but the student bring the material to the class and teacher suggested the topic and student use it for speaking. Then focus on emergent language. During this, the student focus on the language emerge from the class. It happened naturally. So according to the founder of this method, that it's language student come to the class to learn language, not to do the book. So say the language emerge in the class, so they are not taught pre-planned. Let's move to the problem statement. It is the Saudi EFL learner are facing English speaking problem due to participant language ability, subject knowledge, and contextual factors. So the previous research mentioned that they are facing speaking problem due to some reason. Also, Saudi EFL classes are more teacher centered. Syllabus topic and teaching material is not relevant to the student, which cause hindrance. For example, this person mentioned this, and also with the syllabus and books are from other culture, are from giving example from other culture, so it is an hindrance for the students. Saudi EFL learner always find it challenging to speak English fluently, but they can overcome this difficulty by mastering variety of course strategies. If they master some course strategies, they may get. And also the personal observation of the researcher, the speaking skill is a challenging for Saudi EFL learner. Let's move to the research objective. The objective of this research was to analyze the comparative difference in the Saudi EFL students' speaking outcome by adapting the textbook-based instruction versus material light approach. So two approaches will be adopted: textbook-based like traditional, and material light approach like the material brought to the class by the students. So hence the research question is, what are the comparative differences in student speaking skill pre and post test while teaching with material light approaches versus textbook based instruction, right? So the what are the comparative differences where there is an effect of which approach is more effective? So what are the comparative difference when they are taught by two different methods? Research methodology quasi experimental design is used because it is an experimental research which is used extensively and involve one experimental group and one control group. Quasi experimental design establish a cause and effect relationship between an independent and dependent variable. Here teaching method like MLA and TBI, they are the independent variable, and the student speaking skill is dependent variable. If they are taught with the intervention of the methods, what it will be the result? The result of the speaking score will be the dependent variable. Also, pre and post tests are used to measure changes in dependent variable, whether there are changes or not. This allows for comparison before and after the intervention within the same group. The participants of the research are 48 Saudi EFL students at foundation year course, Medical College, Majma University. Instruments of the research are pre and post tests that will be used to collect the quantitative data of the student in shape of student scores. Let's move to data collection procedure. The data was collected, the quantitative data was collected from the pre and post test scores. The experimental study was conducted for 8 weeks in a 90 minutes speaking class each week. So each week 90 minutes speaking class. So this total duration of the study is 8 weeks. The pre-test was administered in second week. First week was actually introduction week and the attendance was low. So second week the pre-test was administered to the student, and each student was assessed separately. So each student performance can assess one by one. In the ninth week, the same speaking test was administered to both group of the students. So ninth week, the same test was given to the both group, and data analysis procedure. The data was analyzed by using SPSS 22 and statistical technique. Pair sample t-test were used to measure the significance in mean and standard deviation in the pre and post test scores. Here is the result of the pre and experimental pre-test. Number of students were 24. The minimum score was 5 and the maximum score in pre-test of experimental group was 7. So the mean value 6.38 and standard deviation. Experimental group, the number of students were 24, minimum 8 and maximum they got 10, and yes, minimum the mean value is 9 for same. Let's move to like control group. The number of students were same, minimum value was 4 and maximum value they was 7. The score, maximum score they got, control group minimum value in the post test was 6 and maximum 9, and the mean score was 7.75. T-test result. So the pair sample t-test result was conducted in order to measure their mean difference, standard deviation difference, standard deviation error, interval of the difference, confidence interval lower and upper, and t-value difference and significance tailed too. So experimental pre and post tests, like it is mean value, standard deviation, standard error deviation, lower value, upper value, and this one significance tail 0.00, and this table at -163. Post test, pre and post test, it shows that there is significance variation in the post test so of the control experimental group. So hence, so yeah, okay, the conclusion of the research is the pre and post test score depicted that the group which got the intervention with the MLA material light approach has significant growth in mean and median standard deviation, whereas the group which was taught with traditional approach, textbook based approach, had low statistical achievement. Therefore, based on the result, the study suggested that material light approach should be adopted for the future studies. The material used for teaching speaking should be based on the student interest, because it is the finding of the paper, and curriculum developer can consider it. So this is for future recommendation. Curriculum developer can consider that if students are speaking classes, material should be adopted from the local culture that student can personalize. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I will be there to answer. Thank you.